Could you sort of tell us your thoughts and emotions after a game like that? Is it sort of shock, disbelief, embarrassment, or what?
Disappointment more than anything. I think an element of credit has to be given to New Zealand in the way they bowled, fielded. And with the benefit of hindsight, I wouldn't have won the toss and batted if I'd have known it was going to swing for that long. We batted for 35 overs, and it swung throughout. And they managed to build pressure in between the times it didn't swing as well. So, again, credit goes to them. It's probably the best bowling display we've come across since we've been down this side of the world, which says a lot considering the amount we played against Australia. But today we couldn't cope with it. They outperformed us.
In 2 matches in, you lost 2 by quite a margin, but England prepared for this World Cup like they prepared for no other World Cup before. 5 months of purely one-day cricket. Can you explain why they're not yet at the races?
Yeah, it's again, these first 2 games we said were going to be difficult games, playing against the 2 favourites in their home conditions. But we shouldn't be beaten by this amount. There's no way. Maybe today we were outskilled, but certainly the first game we played against Australia, we were way below par.
Can you explain it?
I can't. We're not doing our basics right. We're not reproducing what we practice. And again, we envisaged the foreseeing, I don't know, future of having lost your first 2 games, but not by this amount. We can still make the quarterfinals. The sooner the better we start winning and gaining momentum into the next games.
Is there any sense of being intimidated by the tournament, by the atmosphere, by the teams you're playing?
I think when we're not doing our basics well, we're being exposed by good teams. And we've seen that today.
Were you surprised at how attacking Brendan was in terms of his captaincy, and what did New Zealand's fielding add to the pressure you were under?
I thought they fielded and bowled really well. This ground in particular, given that it's not a specific cricket ground, makes it easy to build pressure, because once the ball leaves the wicket, it actually stops and holds up, so you can cover more ground. So it's easier to build pressure. And he's quite an attacking guy anyway. He sets attacking fields all the time.
Hi, you're still in the World Cup, of course. You've got 2 days before the next game. How do you turn it round? What do you say in the dressing room? What do you do?
Well, things are pretty quiet at the moment. As naturally, they're going to be guys that are very disappointed. So again, over the next day or so, they'll look at themselves individually and what they can improve before the game against Scotland. I think collectively we're going to have to get tighter as a group and produce collective performances that we've been searching for. Sorry, what's that mean? So instead of producing individual performances, produce a team performance.
Eoin, before this game, Paul Collingwood, a man who's done your job, suggested that unless England turn things around quickly, that jobs, not necessarily yours, but would be under threat. Is that something that you agree with?
I certainly agree that we have to turn things around quickly. As I said, we need to start winning games of cricket in order to gain momentum to get to the quarters and semis and so on. So I'd agree with that side of it, yeah.
Eoin, do you have any kind of theories as to why your skill levels are as low as they have been in these first 2 games, when obviously you've got more skill than that?
I can certainly see us being a little bit tentative in the first game. Today I think we were just outskilled. I thought they bowled incredibly well. The ball swung late, and again they exposed us.
Would you agree that a swinging ball from a decent swing bowler is something that English batsmen should be able to cope with?
Yes, certainly. But again, we're trying. The cricket we're trying to play, and trying to concentrate on in order to win this World Cup, doesn't always bring into play the swinging ball. So again, you've got to play the ball in front of you. That's fair enough. You don't expect it to swing for 30 overs. Does that make any sense? Correct. Yeah.
Oh, and could you just give a word on Tim Southey? How difficult was it facing him today?
I actually didn't face him, but it looked pretty difficult. Again, when he can turn over guys like Ian Bell in the fashion that he did, I mean, all credit to him.
Where would you rate him amongst swing bowlers in the world? I mean, up with James Anderson?
I don't want to put a dampener on his day, but he's obviously, I think he played for about 5 or 6 years in gym. He's obviously played for a lot longer than that, but certainly if he continues to produce performances like this, there's no reason why he can't be categorised in the same.
Lastly, did you find it a little silly taking the dinner break? Did that frustrate you?
Oh, that was the least of my worries, to be honest. It didn't bother me. Didn't bother me at all.
I mean, you'll obviously reflect on selection, but is your gut instinct as you sit here now that you have to make changes simply to reinforce that a performance like that is just not acceptable?
Certainly don't want to go into a state of panic where we make 3 or 4 changes in the one game. That's certainly not what I'm about. I've always believed in making good decisions and backing the right players at the right time. I believe at the moment we have a squad of players that any of them can play, but the 11 that played today I believed were the best to win today's game. And I mean, given conditions, if they change down in Christchurch, we'll change plans accordingly. But again, just because we were outperformed today doesn't necessarily mean I'm binning anybody for Monday.
I mean, your instinct as a group appears to have preferred chasing so far on this tour. Why did you go against that today? Do you think that the bowlers seem to be swinging it in practice when, before the game? Why did you decide to have a bat?
The only thing that occurred this morning was, I mean, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. It hadn't rained here for a while. We came the other night, so that was 2 nights ago, and there'd been a bit of rain around. If it looks like it's going to swing, obviously, I have no worries in bowling first, because that's our biggest strength. In the first 10 overs, if we can take 3 or 4 wickets, we're right in the game. But today, everything about today just said bat, and I got it wrong.
And I just wonder about your own form. Obviously, you got yourself in, and while you and Joe were batting together, I think 104 for 3 or something like that, looked like England were getting there. Do you kind of kick yourself at the way you got out, or I know you took an attacking option, which is what you do, but bearing in mind the situation, etc., that opened up an end which they ran through?
As the partnership progresses, we keep trying to put the emphasis on putting pressure on their bowlers, and again, they bowl well, they build pressure on us, and again, their fielding contributed to that. But I mean, I only gave half a chance today, and they took it with both hands, and when things are going your way, that happens, and I accept that, and we move on. But looking back on it, I still would have played that aggressive shot, because at the time we needed to take the game continually to them, because they were taking the game away from us more so than anything else. Not away from us, but gaining control of it.